Hi, I'm Lee Labrada with Labrada Nutrition, and I'm here today to talk to you about carbohydrates. There's a lot of controversy over carbohydrates, which ones you should eat, which ones you shouldn't eat, how much, when you should eat them, what you should eat them with, whether low carb, high carb, and it just goes on and on. So I hope to shed a little bit of light today on which carbohydrates you should eat and how you should eat them and such so that you can get leaner. So what we're going to talk about today then is the carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are one of the three macronutrients, the other two macronutrients being proteins and fats. Carbohydrates contain 4 calories. They are essential for your health. In fact, your brain runs on glucose, which is blood sugar. That blood sugar, the easiest place to get it is carbohydrates. So you have to have a certain amount of carbohydrates just for your brain to work. Secondly, muscles prefer to run on carbohydrates. The stored energy in muscles, which is glycogen, is from carbohydrates. So you can see how important carbohydrates are. If your muscles don't have enough carbohydrates, then your body is going to go to sources of protein in order to get that glucose, that blood sugar that it needs to run on. And guess what? Guess where the easiest place for that glucose to come from as far as a protein store? It's your muscles. So long story short, if you don't have enough carbohydrates in your diet and you're exercising hard, you're going to break down muscle tissue. And that's the last thing that you want to do as an athlete or someone that is trying to get leaner, because as we know, the amount of muscle that you have in your body helps to determine your metabolism. The more muscle you carry, the more calories you burn, the leaner you get. So muscle is very important. It's very important supporting it, not just with protein, but also with enough carbohydrates. Okay, so we've talked about muscle breakdown. We've talked about how the brain needs carbohydrates. Let's talk about too much carbohydrates, okay? So if you get too much carbohydrates, what happens? There is a release of a fat-storing hormone called insulin. Now, your body releases insulin in response to meals, regardless of what you eat. You're going to get a little bit of insulin, or you're going to get a lot of insulin. If you take in too many carbohydrates, your insulin levels go up, because what your body is trying to do is clear some of that blood sugar out of the bloodstream. Okay, and if that insulin goes up too rapidly, then you can get fat storage. So you see that basically what it boils down to is you want to eat the right amount, types of carbohydrates, the right amounts, and with the right things in order to keep the insulin at a nice level, at a nice steady low level, and to keep the blood sugar at a nice steady low level in order to keep burning fat. So let's talk a little bit about low carb diets, or the traditional Atkins type diets, which are high protein, high fat, low carbohydrate diets. That really is insulin management by default. So what we find out is that by engaging in a diet like that, people are keeping the insulin low just because the carbohydrates are low. But to me, that doesn't seem like the best way to manage insulin. I'm not a big proponent of super high carbohydrate diets either, for the reason that, well, again, the insulin goes too high. So what is the right way to do it? Insulin management is the key, and I believe that the use of complex carbohydrates is key, okay? So not all carbohydrates are bad. Not all carbohydrates are created equal, okay? Simple carbohydrates, sugar, cake, cookies, crackers, baked goods, things like that. Those are carbohydrates that are metabolized very quickly. They're broken down into blood sugar very quickly. Your insulin goes up, and voila, you get fat storage. On the other hand, complex carbohydrates are carbohydrates that are broken down slowly by the body, and so there's less insulin secreted, less blood sugar, lower and more stable blood sugar level. And when that happens, well, you stay in a fat burning mode, and your body's carbohydrate needs are met, both for your brain, your muscles, and so forth, so on. So let's look at some examples of complex carbohydrates. I love these. These are yams, sweet potatoes. So this is a great carbohydrate. This is a great complex carbohydrate. Here's another one. That's oatmeal. Oatmeal is another great complex carbohydrate. I have it just about every day for breakfast. Yet another great complex carbohydrate, rice. okay? And obviously there's some controversy over white rice versus brown rice, but at the end of the day, rice is a complex carb, and especially when it's combined with other foods. In fact, that is a way for you to manage your insulin and to slow down the conversion of the carbohydrate to blood sugar. You can do that by combining it with other foods. Protein, combining it with protein, such as tuna fish, or a lean body protein shake or meal replacement, or a piece of chicken or a piece of fish. That will slow down the absorption of the carbohydrate. What will also slow down the absorption of the carbohydrate is adding, say, a salad to your meal or adding some vegetables to your meals. That provides fiber, that slows down the conversion of the carbohydrate to blood sugar. So the bottom line is that the use of complex carbohydrates, using them judiciously in your diet is a good thing. You just want to stay away from the simple carbohydrates. And whenever you consume carbohydrates, make sure that you combine them with proteins, things that have fiber, maybe foods that have a little fat like avocado or nuts or a little bit of olive oil on your salad, that type of thing. That'll slow down the absorption of the carbohydrate, the breakdown of the carbohydrate to blood sugar. That'll help to maintain your proper insulin levels, and it will help you to continue staying lean. Now, before I let you go, I want to let you know that we have a special going on right now at Labrada.com.